Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week of trading at f45trading.com. Just real quick, you can follow us on Instagram at Future45 Trade Signals, or obviously navigate to our website at www.f45trading.com. You can sign up for free if you're not already a member for 30 days, and you can check out all the trade signals that we put out throughout the week for about 30 days. And speaking of that, starting off this week for January 29th to February 2nd. Just a reminder, it is non-farm payroll this week, so the market is going to see a ton of activity. It's going to see more than likely, and I'll be talking about this here in a few minutes, but I just want to pull up a news chart here for you so you can see sort of what we're looking at for the week ahead. But more than likely, most of the trades coming out for the week, including the one that we just issued here, which I'll talk about in a minute, will be on earlier in the week. So Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday, we'll be doing the majority of our signals. Come Thursday and Friday, we will not be trading at all on Friday. And more than likely, Thursday typically tends to be a day of consolidation where industry and commercial traders are, they're either buying or selling their positions, and the market typically just goes sideways. So we won't be doing any trading past Wednesday for this week, because you can see again in the news there is a bunch of non-farm unemployment data, average hourly earnings, etc., 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 and this tends to make the market very unpredictable and volatile. So you definitely do not want to be trading until this news has been released, until afterwards, after the fact, and even then very, very cautiously, and I wouldn't recommend it at all actually on Friday. We won't be trading, we'll be watching and studying the market, and you should be doing the same thing too. So all of the trades will be Monday, Tuesday, and I don't even know if we'll be putting any out Wednesday, because there is a lot of news scheduled for Wednesday. So the markets, especially Wednesday afternoon, there's a lot of stuff coming out Wednesday afternoon. So if we do put out a signal for Wednesday, it'll need to be closed before probably right around this time right here, 8:30 a.m. New York time. We would probably want to be closing it. Definitely wouldn't want to be going into crude oil inventories. That would be sort of the last thing. So 10:30 in the morning, I would say, would be the absolute cutoff time. Close all your trades, sit on the sidelines for the rest of the week, and watch the market develop. So that's non-farm payrolls. That's how this week is going to shape up. And we're going to get into some quick analysis here. So we're going to start out with the US dollar index. I had called a couple of levels here throughout the past couple of weeks, and the dollar index has pretty much come down and hit those levels to a T. So there's a lot of shrapnel on this chart. I apologize, but when I zoom down into a closer time frame, you'll be able to see what these levels are going on. But this red dotted line here, if you drop down, I'm on a monthly right now, but if you drop down on a weekly, you can kind of see it a little bit better. It's come back down to this consolidation area down here, and so I was calling out a couple of levels. One being the top of this consolidation area here. We saw a little bit of a pause, and then it pushed right through that level. And I said the next level we'd be looking at is the middle of that consolidation range. And you can see here, price actually last week did not, price stabbed through it and then rejected. But the close of that candle, let's zoom in here a little bit better. The close of this candle did not close lower than that, the middle of that consolidation range. So here's what I'm thinking on this. I believe this could either do one of two things. A, it could stall this downtrend, where we could start seeing a run up a little bit higher into this week. And non-farm could be the catalyst, where it pushes it up and it either breaks this downtrend, or it starts to roll over again, and non-farm pushes it back down below that line. So basically what I'm trying to say here is, if price, I believe earlier this week we're going to see a run up here, and I don't know what non-farm is going to do, but if this is going to go lower, Friday will be the one to do it, and it will close lower than this this red dotted line at 88.75. And I think if that happens, if we actually get a candle that closes lower than 88.75, then we're going to look at a continuation on the downside for the US dollar index, and the next level our eye is going to go to is this 86.85 level. And there's a very strong likelihood that this has not seen the end of this yet, But I do believe for the first couple of days of this week, we will see a bit of a retracement, and we'll be trading off of that. So if we go and look, and I'll just for completeness sake, I'll drop down to a daily chart. So what I want to see here is price come back up, and I'll get rid of this guy here. We don't need that anymore, and tag these areas in here. This is what I'm looking at right here for price to come back up to this line here. So I'm looking for price to do this here, come up early this week, do a bit of a retracement, and then if it's going to close lower, like I say, this could be the end of this downward trend here. This could be this one candle right here last what was that, Thursday, I believe. That could be the low, right? That could be it, right? So that was the 25th. That could be it. I think it's probably going to go a little bit lower, but again, this week it will tell us. This week will be the tip-off point, basically, to let us know if we're going to see continued bearishness on the U.S. dollar, or if it's now going to finally reverse. So this is what I'm looking at towards early in the week. I want to see price come up to here, to about the 89.90 level, somewhere in and around there. Or I could even drop it down a little bit lower than that. But I want to see a retracement, and then it's either going to roll over with non-farm, or it's going to continue higher in the bearish trend. So we'll be looking for that. So we put out a signal today, a few hours ago, on the pound dollar, and I will, give me 1 second here, and I can just actually pull out the exact levels, because it's not on this chart here, but I want to make sure that I've got these set up here. My analyst put out the signal about 3 or 4 hours ago, and okay, so right now we're looking at a short entry on the pound dollar, and again, this is going to coincide with this run up in the dollar index, and then of an eventual rollover, if it's going to. So this is going to coincide with that. So what we are looking at with the pound dollar is a subsequent drop as well, and then who knows, and then again after Friday maybe it'll resume its bullishness, which I actually think is going to happen. You can see here I've got some levels marked above. This was the Brexit trade that happened, event that happened, that sunk the market, and now we're right back up to those Brexit levels again here. So I believe we will see some retracement. It's hit some significant resistance up in this area here, as I've delineated by these red lines here, and I think we're going to drop back here. So our signal actually has us coming in. I'll have to drop down to the hourly on that. Our signal actually has us coming in at 141. So price is almost traded up to that area here, and what we're looking for is price to basically just do this, to come up a little bit more here, and then we're going to look for it to roll over, and we're going to be targeting these lows down in here. 140.75 basically would be the first one that we're looking at here. So that's this old low right here, and then well, that's 80, but 5 pips lower, 75, and then this low down in here at 140.50. So that's sort of what we're looking for. And again, if you want to find out more details on that, our analyst comments and detailed charts, you just need to log into f45trading.com. Sign up if you're not already a member. Members, go in there. It's under Monday's trade signals, and you can see all the details on that. So again, this pair here, I'm not going to talk too much more about it, but I am expecting a bit of a retracement and then a run higher, and who knows how deep this retracement is going to go. There's a lot of area down here. For instance, this 140.25 would be a great area to see a bounce in, and then a resume of the upward trend here. And you can see we're in a nice bullish upward trend. I don't think we're quite done yet, but by the end of this week I'll be able to tell you for sure, because either by the end of this week we're going to be trading above or in the mid-range of this consolidation area, and we'll be targeting these highs up here, or it's going to roll, or it's going to continue its bearish trend because the US dollar index is going to be turned to bullish, and then we'll be looking at our first targets, down here, these old highs over here, in at let's have to get rid of this guy here, in at 136.60 area. So that's what we're looking for on the pound dollar, and we won't know again until later this week where trading will take us into February. But we are looking short term for some short term bearishness on this, just to kind of take out some of these lows in here, and then we'll see where price takes us from there. So crude oil is next. I believe this is going to keep on going up, and I had a level set out here at 69.50. Still haven't hit that one yet. We've seen some great bullishness on this, and I want to see this continue. I would really, really, really love it though to see price come back down a bit to this 64.80 level in here. I'd love for it to drop back down one more time before it starts going higher, but we actually had that happen here on I believe that was Wednesday's trading, the 24th. No, that was the 25th. So Wednesday the 25th, Thursday the 25th. Price actually came down. It didn't quite get down to the entry point I was looking at on Thursday, and then Friday it had come down, and I'll just drop down to an hourly here, and it tagged it very, very nicely in here. And I was actually hoping for one. To be honest with you, I was looking for price. I had a signal out last week at 64.86, and price for it to go long, and price just came down right here, and it just missed it. The low was 64.89, so it missed it by about 3 pips. And honestly, I was hoping price was going to come back down one more time, tag into it, and then run, but it just decided to run from there. And I don't like to chase price. There were a couple of areas in here to get in again, like this one here, but to be honest with you, it's Friday. When you get past Friday about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, you don't necessarily really want to be trading too much, and this was sort of borderline with that, coinciding with that time frame where you typically will get the higher the low of the day, and it just coincidentally happened that price ended up, and there's the end of the day right there at 3 p.m. But it just so happened that price ended up making the high of the day almost towards the end of the day on Friday, and so typically don't see that happen on Fridays, but this ended up being a nice runner. But unfortunately, the signal, we did not get a fill on it, but our first target was, I believe, 66.65, or was it 65.60? It was a good almost 100 pip move though that we had on the radar screen, but unfortunately that's what happens sometimes with the signals that we put out. You don't always get a fill, but anyway, if those of you if you did manage to get in on some of these, congratulations, because it's a great move. I think we're going to be going higher, but what I want to see actually for this week is to price actually to come down to this area right here and to start running higher from there. So I'm going to be looking for price just to do a real short midday dip into Monday. I don't think Tuesday it'll dip into Tuesday. I think Tuesday it'll be well above this 66.65 high in here, and but I'm going to watch for this coming forward on Monday after about 7:30 New York time. I'm going to have a signal out. If this is coming into our signal area, then we'll look at buying that and getting long. And it's not actually right here. I'll have to refine this a little bit. I'm going to have to go down to a 15-minute chart, but I'm actually thinking this level right here, about 65.90. And you know what, just to be conservative, just for sort of an aggressive entry, you could do 66 even. And that's sort of what I'm looking at coming into Monday's trading. And it is early Monday morning before market opens right now, and you can see prices just sort of chopping sideways, building up positions. I'm expecting a sharp drop down into the buy zone and then a resume of the overall uptrend. And that would be our first target, 66.65, with the weekly target coming out to 69.50. So that would be a nice, very attainable target for this week, and we should see some nice bullish action happening. So that's what we're looking on crude oil. Watch for a signal coming out of that on this commodity in the next day. Moving on, I'm going to just quickly talk about Bitcoin. This is what I called, this was a live trade session that I had, a call that I had put out mid last week, and you can see basically expecting price to come in and just take out these highs in here quickly and then resume down. That's what we may see with this candle right here. So I'm just going to drop down a little bit. We had a big gap, so from Friday's close to Monday's open here, price gapped up. So I think what we're going to see actually early in this week, I'm just going to borrow this trend line here. I think what we're going to see here is price do this. Whoops. I think it's going to come down here and then expand up. And let me just grab this guy here as well too. Shorten this up. And then from here, I believe we're going down. And this is what I would discussed earlier. So this is what I would like to see. Now, price may, I'll just flip over to a 4-hour here. Price may get up a little bit higher. I have a small pocket of liquidity in here. This blue line here, you can't see it very well, unfortunately, with that, the way that's working out. So you see right in here, up to this blue line at 12,750. I think there's a very good possibility that price may try to breach up into that area. But really all I'm looking for here is just a quick run above this old high back here on January 18th, and then price to resume its downward trend. And my target still hasn't changed. I'm still looking for sub 9,000 prices on Bitcoin, and I believe that's what we're going to start seeing into February here. But I believe a turnaround will be around the corner on this. I think that Bitcoin typically historically has seen lower prices December, January. And I don't think, and that's obviously the case here as well too. You can see we've been bearish since December. So I think we're going to see a further continuation to the downside, and then probably early to mid-February, I'm hoping that these prices have been taken. And there is some areas down here as well too, under this old low, under 5,000. That could be a target. It's a big stretch. If they really start driving price down, it's going to happen very soon here. I think we're going to come out of this consolidation range, and we're either going to come down here, stop, and go back up, or it's going to drift down here, and it's really going to sink the market before it resumes. And I will be looking at getting in longs here and watching. I'm going to watch what price does here. If it wants to just come down, stab down, and run, we're going to get long. If price wants to come down and significantly come into this area and continue down, then we'll be waiting, and we'll be watching the price to come down in this area, and then we'll be looking at getting some longs down in this area here. But price is definitely going to come down, and I think it's going to start making its way down again with non-farm this week here, and all of these big news drivers on Friday. I believe that's going to be the catalyst that's going to roll this thing over and take it down another peg. So that's what we're going to be looking on Bitcoin. I apologize. I've been talking about it for about a week now. Last weekend is actually when I started discussing it. I have to sit down and do a market analysis on the commodities, because I am going to be looking at getting into several positions, commodity based, for the first quarter of the year, and I want to set that up for you guys to show you the strengths, the ones that have the most strength, and the leaders of all the different groupings of commodities. And then I'll be drilling in even closer and picking out the actual commodity leader in the meats and the grains and the softs and the hards and the metals and everything else. So give me a few days. I'm going to put that together. I haven't forgot about it, but I will be doing that this week without fail. There's just been a lot of other stuff going on with the website and some other things. And now that it's non-farm, again, we won't be doing any trades past Wednesday. So I'll be looking at taking the opportunity and taking the time to allocate to that video, and I will be putting something together there. So I won't talk too much about copper or sugar or cotton or cocoa or any of those guys. I'll leave that for the video, but I think we do have a nice setup on a few of these coming up here pretty soon, and I will elaborate on that in a lot more detail. So with that, I'm going to close this session. Thank you very much for your time. It was a short one this evening. And again, check us out at f45trading.com, where you can sign up free for 30 days and enjoy all of our signals that we put out on all of these commodities and currencies and cryptocurrencies that you see below here, and many more. And also please make sure to follow us on Future 45 Trade Signals on Instagram. And then we have our YouTube channel as well too, which is F45 Trade Signals. Please follow us on there. If you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner here and subscribe to it. And this is also where we do all of our live trading, which, by the way, we are happy to announce we are adding another live trading day this Friday. So our schedule going forward will be every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 12 a.m. New York time. Again, that's every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 12 a.m. New York time. We'll be trading London Open. Live trades come in. We'll do live market analysis. You can get your questions answered. We'll run through a ton of stuff, and we'll actually see if there's some trades that we can actually take. And then Fridays, we will be doing New York Open at 7:30 a.m. New York time. So make sure... actually, I'm sorry, 8 o'clock New York time this Friday. It'll actually be going live right after non-farm payrolls, just because of the volatility. And our analyst will be looking at a few trades there right after commodities open, the CME opens. So just give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to triple check the time on that for you. Friday, we have all of the news coming out at 8:30 a.m. So we'll be starting our session shortly, right around there, probably about 8 a.m. I would imagine, to get familiar with the markets, and then we'll get you set up there. So you can find all of that if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can get all those live trading sessions all for free until April 1st. Just click subscribe and you'll get the notification. Click on the link and it'll take you right to the live session. That's every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and now Fridays live sessions. So tons of great content here, guys. We got lots coming up. We're excited that you're joining us, and we will talk to you later this week. Have a great evening.